Thank you.
It's so nice to
meet you guys.
Yeah, earlier, but so they have, well, you produced the Fatima movie, and it hasn't come out for release yet, but I'm curious to know when the project started and how it all came about.
Dick is the producer.
It started more than 10 years ago. We started, we finished the first draft of the script a little over 10 years ago. So we've been in progress over 10 years. Yeah. So, and it was due to, as you know, to be released this weekend, but coronavirus interrupted. So August 14th is now the date, and we're hoping that'll hold. We want everybody to go that weekend, opening weekend, if they can.
Yeah.
The virtues that we prayed today are very appropriate. Patience, perseverance,
courage.
Courage.
Yes. Sorrow for sin. It's another big one. So one question that we always like to ask our guests is their rosary story. Like, do you remember when you first learned the rosary or when it first impacted you?
Well, I first learned the rosary in elementary school. I think when I was in second grade, I think, is when I first learned the rosary. And although I have to be honest, I didn't start praying it every day until we started working on this movie. When we started working on the movie, we saw this incredible story, this incredibly powerful story. And I was reflecting one day, and I said, was thinking about some people believe it happened and some people didn't believe it happened. And I thought, I really believe it happened. And then I looked at the mirror and I said, well, if you really believe it's happened, then why on earth aren't you praying the rosary every day? I mean, how could you possibly say you believe this story happened and you're not praying the rosary every day? And so we discussed it, and Martha prays the rosary a lot more than I do. Sometimes we play more than once a day. If I drive to LA, for example, then I end up probably playing it 3 times a day. Once on the way up, once on the way back, and then once together when we get home. But we now, it's become part of our daily routine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So did the writer of the script, did you guys know someone that wrote it, or how did it all come together? Because I know you said you really started working on it.
There are actually 3 writers of the script.
Oh, wow.
The 3 writers are Marco Panacorvo, and Valerio D'Annunzio, and Barbara. There's 3 people that wrote it. Barbara wrote the first draft, and then Marco and Valerio did several rewrites to get it ready to shoot. Marco's also the director of the film.
Oh, okay. Okay. So people are asking, what moved you to make the film? And you have to have incredible endurance to really keep it going for that long. I think people don't realize movies, unless they're a Hollywood, they tend to take 5 to 10 years, wouldn't you say, to make?
Not necessarily. Sometimes they're 2 years or 18 months, but we prayed the rosary every day for 10 or more years, and there were times when we said, Lord, if this really isn't your will, we're okay with that. We'll just stop right now, because we would have obstacles, and then he would throw us a little blessing or a big blessing, and he knew that we had to go forward.
Our original goal was to release it on the centenary in 2017, on the 100th anniversary of the apparitions. And when it became clear that we weren't going to have the production finished by then, we're like, maybe the Lord doesn't want us to finish this project. And so we did what Martha said. We said, Lord, if you don't want us to do this, let us know. And then the next day, um, um, Andrea Bocelli reached out and said he would like to work with us on the soundtrack. So Andrea Bocelli sings the theme song of the movie. If you watch the trailer, you can go to fatimathemovie.com and watch the trailer. And on the second half of the trailer is the theme song with Andrea Bocelli singing it. And it's just incredible. So the music, the soundtrack, everything in the movie is just stunning. And one of the things that we decided at the outset was, out of respect for our Blessed Mother, that we were going to either make the film we wanted to make that brought glory and honor to her and did a service to the story, or we weren't going to make the film. And so we could have made it a lot sooner had we cut corners, used a lesser budget, made a movie that we didn't want to make, but would have gotten, a project out the door and got it finished. Or we could have just taken our time and made the movie we want to make. We were patient, and I think our patience has paid off. The movie is absolutely stunning.
Yeah. Okay, so two things. Could you move your phone or camera down? They want to see your faces. We're just seeing yeah, they want to see you. Yeah, and then the other question is, where will it be released? Where can they see it? They want to know also if it's going to be in Europe.
We'll be all over the world, actually. And the movie theaters are AMC,
Cinemark and Regal. So when it's released, it'll be on over 1,000 screens in North America. Okay. So it'll be a major release. And then we've sold most of the foreign territories. We've sold, and now we're going to have to delay those because of coronavirus too. The originally was they were going to start rolling out foreign releases in June and July, and now it's not going to happen until later.
Yeah, yeah. It's so I'll make sure too to share the trailer for them after this, so that they can watch it. I think we're all very, very excited.
We're excited.
We're excited.
Patience and perseverance are very appropriate right now.
Yes, yes. And I'm sure you can't not think like some of it is like the devil just trying not to get it out, right?
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. He always tries to get his 2 cents worth in, but just
we also think the timing may turn out to be just perfect because I think with people coming out of this pandemic that they're going to be hungering even more to get close to God's divine love and to the Blessed Mother. And so I think it's going to be, and the movie's designed to reach out. It's produced so that I think the story is so exciting it'll have appeal to a lot of people beyond just Catholics. Right.
So Chris asked the question, have you seen any blessings along the way as you've made it? Like, I think you were alluding to it, Martha, when you said, okay, maybe she wants us to slow down and things would happen. And we're just curious to hear what maybe some of those blessings or stories were.
Well, there were many, many blessings. I guess they always started out with certain obstacles, and then God would answer our prayers with the rosary we were saying every night, and something amazing would happen. With the casting, there were several times that, well, Dick can talk more about that, but there were many times that we had someone in mind, or the producers had someone in mind, and they said, it's too Catholic for me. I won't be able to do it, sorry. And it ended up that we have the most perfect cast.
That somebody better came along for that role, or somebody better came along for that job. Probably one of the most interesting stories, though, was we decided, the Origin team at Origin Entertainment decided to do this project. And it was on a Thursday. And so we had our business meeting Thursday looking at what to do and so forth. We decided, yes, we're going to make a magnificent movie about Fatima. The following Sunday evening, a friend of ours, a friend of Martha and mine, called, and she said, I've had this traveling statue from Fatima in my possession for the last 2 or 3 months, and it's time to move it along. And she said, I've been praying all weekend about who to give it to next. And she said, your name has come up throughout the weekend. I feel like I should be passing the Fatima statue to you. Would you be willing to take it? And I said, oh my goodness. I said, you're not going to believe this. But just 3 days ago, we decided to make this Fatima movie.
She had no idea.
And she had no idea. She had no idea what. So we hadn't told anybody we were going to do this. So she gave us the statue. And when it became obvious that the movie was going to take longer than we thought, we would give it out to people for 3 or 4 months and come back and then give it out and so forth, because we wanted to keep it so we could have it on the set when we shot the film. And about halfway through the process, I had just received it back from some people that had taken it through their parish and so forth. And I received a call from a woman who came on board to help us with marketing. And she said, a young mother, a mother of a couple of kids that go to school with my son, was just diagnosed for a second time with breast cancer. Said she had breast cancer, cleared up, and now it's come back, and they've just discovered that it metastasized and is in 8 different nodes in her brain.
Oh my God.
And they're not giving her very much of an opportunity. And I called her to ask if we could help, and she said if there was anybody that knew where one of the traveling icons from Fatima was, she would like to pray in front of one, because she'd heard about miracles happening that way. Mm-hmm. So the woman called me and she said, do you have any idea where there's a Fatima statue? And I said, you're not going to believe this, but I'm standing in my living room looking at one right now. And she said, oh my goodness, she said, could she come pray in front of the statue? She wants to pray before she starts 6 months worth of chemotherapy and radiation therapy and all this to try and save her life. And I said, well, I think we should do better than that. I think we should take her the statue and let her family pray it in their home and work this through. So we put it in its traveling case and box and wrapped it up and put a nice card in there and so forth, and took it over to her. And she and her family started praying in front of the statue. And a month later, she went in for her final sort of checkup before starting this year-long worth of horrendous therapy. And her cancer was completely gone. It had completely cleared up. The 8 nodes that they had scanned in her brain were no longer there, and she was completely cured.
So were the doctors like, there's just no explanation?
Yes.
Right.
So
they did say
that. So that, I mean, that's one of the big ones that I think happened along the way. But there were a lot of other little ones every day. Like Martha said, we'd hit an obstacle and pray, and something better would come along.
Yeah, I've even seen that, like with this ministry. We went live, like it was like a year and a half ago. But the stories, and there's these little miracles that pop up, and then there are the big ones. And I feel like you kind of have to go through your trials so that you like even recognize the blessing or the miracle that's being sent. But it truly, when you really surrender and live with complete faith, it's just the greatest adventure, I think. Sometimes hard, but But this is so great. And maybe we can have you back on again before the movie's released so that everybody's kind of aware the exact date it's coming out so everybody can go.
I'd love to do that. Yeah, we're hoping, we have a meeting this Friday, and we're hoping that the August 14th date will hold. The pandemic is, we obviously, it's out of our control once again, but we can't release it if the theaters aren't open. But we're optimistic that they probably will be by then.
Yeah.
And if so, that's when it'll open. If not, we'll have another story to tell.
Yeah.
August
Maybe
15th
they're going to have this.
of the Assumption, so we're praying for that.
Yeah, we're planning it for the weekend of the Feast of the Assumption.
It's beautiful. Well, it's so nice to meet you guys and pray with you. And we'll keep praying. We'll keep praying for the movie too.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having us pray with you. This is a wonderful experience.